So we have a special guest today, Alana Stewart. You might look at her life and say, wow, model, actress, Hollywood producer. She's done it all. Her life must just be perfect. Well, not always. Alana Stewart is joining us now because she's here in Denver and she's going to give a speech tomorrow to a group, a luncheon.
Yes, yes.
But I don't think a lot of people know that you did have a very tough childhood and growing up years, and that kind of shaped you.
It did, and I lived with my grandmother out in the country in Nacogdoches, Texas, and we were very poor. We had an outhouse, and I don't know many people that had an outhouse growing up. And she was a very strong religious woman, and she very principled, and she had a lot of faith. My mother was young, and she was going through different marriages, and so she sent me to live with my grandmother. And I think if it hadn't have been for that and that foundation of faith, I wouldn't have made it through a lot of tough times in my life.
So when you go from that and then you're discovered as an Eileen Ford model, I mean, how do you adjust to that lifestyle?
Well, first of all, I wasn't discovered. I wish it had been like an overnight success, but I pounded the pavement and I struggled. And I used to live on Needix hot dogs and, you know, like slices of 20-cent pizza in those days. And then eventually I became successful, but it wasn't overnight. Nothing has ever been overnight in my life, Kim, I wish.
But nothing worth achieving is overnight, to be fair.
I think so too. I think that's true. Although some people, I mean, my dear friend Farrah Fawcett, she was not quite overnight, but almost. Charlie's Angels and the red bathing suit poster was like instant fame.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Farrah also. I know, yes, you were married to George Hamilton, Rod Stewart. Those things kind of become a part of your life. You learn a lot from that and those relationships, but it doesn't identify who you are.
Well, yes, I agree, and I never like to be introduced as George Hamilton's ex-wife or Rod Stewart's ex-wife because I feel like I've worked a good deal of my life and I have my own identity, and that's how I want to be known anyway. But they were a very important part of my life. I have 3 wonderful children from them.
You've also written some books, and you really offer a lot of inspiration to a lot of people, but your dear friend, Farrah, talk about Farrah Fawcett. You know, her journey with cancer changed you.
Changed me tremendously. Well, Farrah and I first met when we were both modeling and doing TV commercials in LA, and then she got Charlie's Angels and that whole thing and shot to fame, and we didn't really become good friends until about when I was first married to Rod, and I was pregnant with my daughter, and we were at a dinner party together, and she was just with Ryan, and we became really close friends, and we had the Texas connection.
Yeah.
She was a Texas gal, and so am I. And then I used to look at her life and think, she has the most perfect life. I mean, she had it all. She was the golden girl. I mean, she really had it all. And then, you know, cancer struck, and it plays no favorites. And so we went through this battle. I say we because I wanted to be with her and help her through it and be her advocate. You know, somebody needed to. And Ryan was wonderful, and he was there, but he, you know how men are. She'd say, no, let him stay. Let him stay home. You come with me to Germany. So we spent those 3 years traveling back and forth to Germany, and she was getting some alternative treatments and things, and she was amazing. She was so brave, and that's why I wrote the book. It was really my diaries about that period of time, and I admired her courage and her strength, and she wanted to help other people because she knew how horrible it was to go through cancer.
Well, as a co-survivor, you have done so much, because the co-survivor does a lot with somebody like this. I know we have to go, and you're speaking tomorrow at the Denver Country Club, but what's the name of the foundation quickly before?
The Farrah Fawcett Foundation, and it's farrahfawcettfoundation.org.
Because of you.
So I'd love for people to go on the site and check it out.
Thank you so much, and continued good work.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Great to be here.